What's up, y'all? Today I got three Ed Brisson comics. I read these all in a row. Ed Brisson is one of these writers that I've been like meaning to try out for a long time. I think he's well known for like crime, and there's a good amount of crime here. Like as a writer, I know he's done some Big Two stuff. As you guys know, I'm not really interested in any of the Big Two stuff. I know that his big book is Murder Book, which I found a little difficult to find. But I listened to him on the Ideas Don't Bleed podcast, great comic book podcast, where he was a guest on there and he was talking about some, like, some of the books that he had written. And as he was talking about them, I was like, these sound sick. And so I bought them up. I know The Field, I definitely heard about on there. There's one other one. And then the other one's a fairly new release. So, yeah, we're going to just jump into these three books here. This one is The Field. It is written by Ed Brisson. It is drawn by Simon Roy, who I'm a huge fan of. Love Simon Roy. Um, so that was really, really my in here. I was like, what a great way to start out with this guy. Simon Roy, also not a guy who like draws for other writers a lot, I think. So I was very curious. This book is for sure the most genre, I guess, out of all of them. And by genre, I mean like there's a lot of sci-fi happening in this book. That's Simon Go. How are you going to say that? On the coloring, which is Simon Roy's frequent collaborator. I like this one a lot. I think it's really fun. It's a really tight story. I think the concept is really thought out. It's one of these books where you spend the whole time being like, what the fuck is going on? And then when you flip the last page, it tells you. And you're like, oh, okay, that's cool. I thought the reveal worked. I think the characters are pretty weird and kooky. I think that Go's coloring is like out of this world here, bro. It's like probably my favorite like super digital looking coloring. I don't know when this one came out exactly, but I feel like there's a lot of books where you look at them and you're like, ooh, yeah, that's digital coloring, and not in a good way. This one has that look, but it is in a good way. I actually really enjoyed it. I think he's bringing a lot here. Big fan of Simon Roy's like acting and expression work. This book revolves a lot around like some simple like smartphone stuff, which I feel like you don't see a lot in comic books. It's a lot of dialogue work. I think this book is a little bit of like, I think a lot of writers like to write really chatty. This is kind of in that vein of like that Pulp Fiction back and forth dialogue. Not that these guys are like Pulp Fiction characters, but like back and forth, we're being super silly. It's like really writer, like a writer, like I don't know how to say it, like writer intensive. You know what I mean? Like you read something, you're like, oh, this guy just really wanted to write this, but so that it fits in the vibe of the storytelling. I mean that mostly with this guy who says some kooky stuff, which did make me laugh, but it can be kind of a lot. For me personally, that all being said, I think the action's really good. The character stuff is really good. I think that the kind of freaky, like, memory wipe shenanigans, like, who is this guy? Where'd he come from? Why is this happening to him? Is a good hook. It's a good hook. And I don't think it, like, blew me away, but this is kind of like in the vein of like a good B movie. It's not trying to be like, dude, this is like way lower stakes, low to the ground than the rest of them are, which I think is Ed Brisson's kind of calling card, at least from what I learned in these three books. Should probably give you a pitch on what this story is. Pitch of the story: guy wakes up in a field. He doesn't remember anything. He has this phone where he receives text telling him not to trust whoever's coming to pick him up. The guy comes to pick him up. It's this kind of goofy dude who picks him up, and they go on this like crazy adventure as he's trying to figure out what the fuck is going on. Lots of violence. Honestly, very excessive. I mean that in a positive way. Types of violence. And I mean, Simon Roy is a great artist, dude. Great artist. I enjoyed this one. I think it's fun. Here's some of that good old fashioned violence we love in comic books, huh? Yeah, it's a good time. I say that this one, I hesitate to say so. I think this is probably the one I enjoyed the most, but I like the super extra fantastical kind of comic books. This one really played to me personally, to my taste, I'd say. Next one I got is Sins of the Salton Sea. This one is from AWA Comics, which I have a very shaky relationship with. I feel like a lot of their books are like artsy fartsy in the wrong direction. I thought this was pretty good. I like it. This is also got a very crime setting. This has kind of a eldritch horror twist going on here, which is kind of the vibe. We follow this guy who, oof, what is his name? It's not Jasper. That's the brother. But we follow this main guy who's kind of out of the game. He doesn't want to do. He seems like a modern day mercenary criminal type. Brother finds him. He goes, "You got to do this one last job." He gets drawn into this one last job, and it leads to crazy shit where there's a little bit of like cult action. He's trying to keep people alive. He's running away from these endless forces. Yeah, classic stuff. Classic stuff. C.P. Smith, the artist, is not a guy I have ever heard of before. His art worked for me. I think the tone of this book is really well done. I think the colors do a lot of work to establish that tone. This one felt a lot more like believable, a lot more grounded. These characters worked for me. I think that this one really feels like a movie that I'd watch with my dad. Up until I guess some of the craziness, but it's like really grounded crime stuff at the beginning. I think the art works. One thing that he does later on is he straight up uses like pictures in the background. Like, can you really tell here? Like, look at this. I don't think like there's spots where he's straight up using pictures for the backgrounds, and I've seen that before in comics, and typically it takes me right out of it, and I really can't stand it. Like, look at this. I don't know if those are drawings of trees in the back, folks. But usually it takes me right out of it. This is like the best I've ever seen that used, and I don't know if it's just like really well colored or like the composition. It really worked for me in a way that never has before. The characters worked for me. This one's kind of a downer, like overall. It's one of those books where nobody's having fun. None of the characters are having fun in it, but I still enjoyed it. It has some great action sequences. I think that its thriller nature kind of works. It's one of those books where even until the very last moment, we don't really know what to believe is actually true for a lot of it, which is nice. It's a very nice touch. Yeah, I think it's pretty good. I remember watching Cartoonist Kayfabe, and they used to talk about how they hate when books are colored all like brownish, grayish, and this one is definitely one of those. But I think it works, I think it's done like really well. This feels like a very well executed book. So, Sins of the Salton Sea, I liked it. I think it's pretty good. And Brisson, turns out pretty good writer. Last one is Wild Animals. This is the newest of the bunch by far. This one came out, I think, a couple months ago. I don't know. It could have been a while. From now, this is from Mad Cave, a publisher that I would really like. I want to like more than I do. I think that some of their books are. I feel like Mad Cave is kind of really banking on what's his name that did Spectrum. That's what I feel like. Who's doing Is Ted Okay right now? I don't know. I love that they're creator owned. It can be a little hit or miss for me. Where I'm at. This one is written by Ed Brisson, drawn by what is his name? Andy Kuhn? Oof. One of those. Great artist. Never heard of him before. He really shows out in here. And I think one of the more underrated colorists working in comics today, Deacon If, who cooks in this book. I think that Andy Kuhn? Oh, man. Is that really his name? I think that his art is incredible. This one of the bunch is the most grounded. There's no like fantastical elements in here. This is straight crime story. And like in all good crime stories, we have a character who like he starts on his path and it just gets worse and worse for him as it goes on. We follow this main kid. Ooh, what's his name? What could his name be? I can't remember. I'm terrible with these character names. But he is here as his mom passes away. In the first issue, we learn that his dad was involved with some crooked police officer shenanigans that led to his death, and then him and his mom have been on their own for a long time, and now he has decided after his mom passed that he wants revenge. And so he goes back, and we kind of like retreat through his memories. He goes back to the town that they came from, really small town, and he goes on a revenge tour, and he's not that good at it. Which, you know, is okay. But that's kind of the vibe of the book, is following this guy as he kind of stumbles through this revenge tour. I feel like it's pretty unique for me as far as like a crime book of this nature goes. I don't know that I could say it's like this other book, which I think is great. I think that's good stuff. The art is really spectacular. I think that the character work is pretty nice in here. I like the hometown, like people, like it feels like a small town. I don't live in like a super small town, but I feel like there's a vibe you're going for, and I feel like it is well captured here by the whole team. Also, not a great time. Would not call this a super fun time. I think there's some good moments, and yeah, I mean it's. I have a hard time talking about these because they're such downers, bro. Like, I don't like to read books that make you feel sad at the end of them, which is, I feel like, maybe where I'm struggling a little bit on this one and Sins of the Salton Sea. But I feel like it's made well. I feel like for, like, the story's well designed. I think all the things are executed well. The art is really what I am going to, like, think about with this. I think Andy Kuhn is, like, a great artist. So I hope he gets a lot more shots out of this. I thought this was pretty good. Pretty good. Wouldn't say I had a good time. That was pretty good. This is kind of a weird video for me. I feel like a lot of the time I'm talking about ones that are like, you know, banger masterpieces. And I don't think that's what any of these are. But I do have an appreciation for guys who work in like this kind of space. Like he's not going like huge, crazy concepts. It's not like super outsized fate of the universe on the line every single book. They're like grounded stories. They incorporate these different fantastical elements, but they're still quality stuff. And I feel like that books like these don't get celebrated in the same way that some of these other comics do. So I really wanted to make this video to kind of shout it out. If I had to say, I think I like the Field the best. These two, I don't know. Like, I like the artwork better in Wild Animals. I think these are both like well-made comics though. If any of these jumped out to you, I think you should get them. Ed Brisson is a guy who I will continue to be buying books from. I think he is an interesting writer. I have enjoyed his work so far. I hope that comes across the video. I feel like I'm kind of going back and forth as I'm talking about it. But yeah, I think we should celebrate guys like this, man. Buy some Ed Brisson comics. If you have any other kind of crime comics, I would love a recommendation in the comments below. If you made it this far in the video, I really appreciate you, and I will see you guys in the next one.